What if I told you that the competition, the one that seems impossible to reach, was born in a garage, with a handful of idealists and unbridled ambition? Today, we'll tell you the story of AMD, the company that challenged the giant, the one that proved innovation can come from below, and the one that, despite the storms, continues to fight for a place at the top. A modest beginning, a bold vision. The year was 1969. Man had reached the moon, the world was moving at a dizzying pace, and in Silicon Valley, 8 visionaries led by Jerry Sanders III, a charismatic engineer from Fairchild Semiconductor, decided it was time to create something of their own. Their motivation? Dissatisfaction with the corporate culture, broken promises, and the belief that they could do things better. Thus, Advanced Micro Devices, or AMD, was born. The context was crucial. Intel, founded a year earlier, was already setting the pace in the microprocessor industry. AMD knew this, and from the beginning, they knew they couldn't compete in the same way. Their initial strategy? To manufacture copies of Intel's chips, but to do it faster, better, and cheaper. A bold, but risky, strategy. The early years, imitation, innovation, and a risky bet. The early years were about survival. AMD specialized in the manufacture of integrated circuits, taking advantage of the opportunities that Intel left behind. The key was reverse engineering. They analyzed the competition's chips, discovered how they worked, and created their own versions, often improved. But AMD didn't just copy. From the beginning, they invested in research and development, looking for innovative solutions. A major milestone was the creation of their own line of microprocessors, compatible with Intel's software, but with superior performance. It was a risky bet, but necessary to differentiate themselves. A crucial moment came in 1982, when IBM chose AMD as a second supplier of microprocessors for its personal computers. It was a major boost, a sign that AMD could compete head-to-head with Intel. The alliance with IBM catapulted AMD to fame, but also put it in the spotlight. Growth, innovation, and the processor war. The 1990s were a time of growth and expansion for AMD. The company launched increasingly powerful processors, challenging Intel's dominance in the personal computer market. The AMD K5 and the AMD K6 were important milestones, processors that offered performance comparable to Intel's Pentium, but at a more competitive price. The battle for the processor market intensified in the late 1990s and early 2000s. AMD launched the Athlon, a processor that outperformed Intel's Pentium III in many tests. It was a blow to the giant, a sign that AMD was not just a competitor, but a real threat. But the competition was not easy. Intel responded with new processors, and the price war intensified. AMD suffered setbacks, delays in the launch of new products, and production problems. The company was on the verge of bankruptcy on several occasions, but always managed to pull through, thanks to its innovative spirit and the loyalty of its employees. The myth of the Barton, a legendary chip. In the midst of this battle, a myth arose, an urban legend that is still fondly remembered in hardware forums today. This is the AMD Athlon XP Barton, a processor launched in 2003 that, according to many, was capable of outperforming more expensive Intel processors. The myth of the Barton is based on several factors. First, this processor offered excellent performance in demanding games and applications, thanks to its efficient architecture and its 512 KB L2 cache. Second, it was very easy to overclock, that is, to increase its clock speed to obtain even greater performance. And third, it was relatively cheap, which made it a very attractive option for users looking for good performance without spending a fortune. The Barton became a symbol of AMD's ability to offer innovative and high-performance products at competitive prices. Even today, many users remember this processor with nostalgia, as an example of what AMD can achieve when it sets its mind to it. AMD today, an impressive resurgence. After difficult years, AMD has experienced an impressive resurgence in recent years. The company has launched innovative processors and graphics cards, which have received excellent reviews from the specialized press and users. The Ryzen processor series, launched in 2017, marked a turning point, allowing AMD to compete again in the high-end market. Today, AMD is a major player in the semiconductor industry. The company not only manufactures processors for personal computers, but also for video game consoles, servers, and other devices. AMD has shown that it is capable of innovating, of adapting to market changes, and of competing with the giants of the industry. A legacy of challenge and innovation. The story of AMD is the story of a David who faced Goliath, the story of a company that was born in a garage and that, despite the difficulties, managed to challenge the dominance of a giant. It is a story of innovation, of perseverance, and of the belief that you can always do better. Because sometimes, behind a simple logo, there is a whole story that few know. Did you like this story? If you want to know more stories of brands that change the world, subscribe to our channel and leave us a comment. See you in the next